Okay. So, hi everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Megan.
And I'm Leah, and welcome everybody on our live streams as well. This is Biblio Bites, our program. We do it once a month, every third Wednesday at 2 p.m. So you guys are always welcome to come back anytime, or tune in on our live streams as well on Facebook and Instagram.
And today we're making something really fun.
We said that. We did.
No, we did. Today we're making something really fun. We're making turtle peanut butter cookies. So they're gonna look a little bit like this. We set this guy on some shelves, so he's very fancy. But they're just peanut butter cookies that look kind of like turtles. So we're excited to show you how to do it.
Yes. So, and today we are cooking out of this book called 100 Cookies. I'm not sure. By Sarah Kiefer. So it's a great book. There's so many different recipes and cookies in here. Basically, any kind of cookie that you can imagine is going to be in this book. It's really awesome. Don't worry. Come on in. No worries.
Yeah, find a spot.
Find a seat. If you guys need more chairs, we can get some more too.
Yeah, just let us know.
But yes, so there's lots of different cookies, from sugar cookies and snickerdoodles, chocolate cookies. There's lots of different flavors.
Even some like brownies and blondies are in there. And this first section is just like basic cookies. So that's where we got this recipe for the peanut butter cookies. But there's also lots more exciting, more unique recipes. And one of my favorite parts actually about this book is that at the back it has a whole playlist of songs to bake to. And I thought that was so cute. So it's a really fun cookbook. I definitely recommend it.
Highly recommend it, definitely. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll show you kind of how to do it. We're going to start over here. Megan is going to show us how to candy peanuts, because those we're going to chop up and mix into our dough. So she's going to show you how to do that. And then I'll probably get started with our dry ingredients, and we'll kind of walk you guys through what we're doing. So.
That's the one thing that I thought was really unique about this recipe that made me want to use this one, is that it had the candied peanuts in it, and then you chop them up and put them in the cookie. And I'd never really heard of that before, so pretty cool. And it's really easy. All you do is take peanuts and sugar and a little bit of salt and candy them together. So I'll start doing that.
And then in my bowl over here, we're going to put 2 cups of flour plus 3 tablespoons of flour. So we're going to just mix that all into the big bowl here.
Is there salt?
That's right.
Okay, so I'm just using a cup of peanuts, and you don't have to chop them or anything because we're going to chop them all later once they're like candied and kind of caramelized together. So don't worry about that.
Give me the 1 cup.
The 1 cup, here you go. And it actually gives you information on a separate page about candying the nuts. If you've never done that before, I've done that a little, but not a lot. And it tells you that you can use all types of nuts, and it's just those 3 ingredients. So it's pretty easy. So the sugar and peanuts are what I'm putting in here.
And then in here, we're also going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda to our dry ingredients. Thank you. And for this, we're just using regular flour, all-purpose, just baking soda you can buy anywhere. Nothing special with that.
And for the peanuts, you just want to kind of stir them constantly, because if you don't, it'll just become like a caramelized big like hunk of peanuts. So I'm just going to constantly stir those. And then when it looks like it's starting to melt and get brown, you can turn it on low, and then
It's going really fast.
I know, it's already smoking.
You want to be careful with these because they will, it can burn easy too if you're not careful. So you always want to be careful with that. Okay. And then we're also going to, you need a little salt.
Yeah, just like a pinch of salt. So we'll put a little of that in.
I need that too.
Oh, you need it too? Wow.
And then I'm going to do a 3/4 teaspoon of salt into mine. So we got that here.
So yeah, I'm just constantly stirring these. And once it looks like they're more melted, like I said, you put it on low. And then we're just gonna pour them out and let them cool, and then I'll chop them up. And we're gonna put it into our batter.
Just that. And this, once you get your dry ingredients in there, we're just gonna whisk this together. So we're just gonna make sure it gets nice and, you know what? I think I only did 1 cup in there. Whoops. I should add that second cup. I was gonna say this is not nearly enough. So make sure you get the right amount of flour or your mixture will not be right. I said 2 and 3 tablespoons. So yeah, there's, the tablespoons is kind of interesting because if you don't have that, it's probably just a little bit lacking, so it's kind of interesting they add those extra 3 in there as well. So just make sure that gets stirred up. We're just combining that all together.
And this recipe says it makes about 24 cookies, and we found that to be true. We didn't make them super big because we knew we wanted extra dough to make the little head and the little legs, but we got more than 24, so.
Yeah. So depending on how big you do them, I think this suggests to make them like 2 tablespoon size, so they're gonna be a little bit bigger of a cookie, but you can make them any size. It's not gonna hurt the recipe or the cookie at all, so. Then once that is mixed, I'm going to get started on the wet ingredients. And for that, I'm going to use my electric mixer. This one is kind of comparable to like a KitchenAid, but what this is just called a Bosch. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They also do like work tools as well, so it's going to be the same company, but it's just a kitchen tool instead.
And I've never known anybody that had a Bosch mixer before. I met Leah, and she's very excited about the Bosch mixer. So if you want to know more about it, ask her, and she'll be happy to tell you about it.
You do have one?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Do you like yours a lot? Yeah. I had another friend who is faithful to KitchenAid, and so we would always argue back and forth which was better, and I'm very biased to the Bosch.
And I'm just still stirring, just so you know, still stirring. But that's what's going on.
Not much has changed.
But just want you to get an update. So starting to kind of caramelize.
So in the Bosch or your electric mixer, whichever you have, you're just gonna add 2 sticks of butter. We'll get that right in there.
So does the Bosch have accessories?
It does, yeah. Yeah, so I just have cookie paddles in there. So if you have a KitchenAid or any kind of electric mixer, they usually have similar attachments with that.
What about a pasta maker?
Yes, that's definitely.
And there's a blender attachment for you to make smoothies.
Yeah, this has a blender here. So.
It's very cool. And you used room temperature butter, is that correct?
Yeah, room temperature. So you always want to make sure it's room temperature. If you forget, like I do sometimes, you can pop it in the microwave for a couple seconds, but be careful and do it I usually do 10 seconds at a time if I have to do that. So, and then you're just going to mix this on a low speed until your butter is just creamy. So I'll show you guys here just creamy butter, which if you've done any baking, I'm sure you're familiar with.
What kind of cookies? Oh wow, it's getting hot. What kind of cookies do you guys like? What's your favorite kind to eat? Snickerdoodles? Those are really
yummy.
good.
I like those.
Sugar cookies?
Sugar?
Those are really good
Those
too.
are yummy too.
Yeah,
Of
I love
course,
chocolate
classic.
chip. Peanut butter is pretty high up there. It's pretty good. Any other favorites we didn't mention? Peanut butter?
Peanut butter?
Well, you're in luck. I'm excited you like peanut butter. What about, I like the ones that are white chocolate macadamia nut or with cranberries in them. Those are really
always
good.
yummy, yes.
So Leah is actually a cookie expert. It's interesting we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
She's very good at making cookies.
I love cookies. They're kind of my passion. So any cookie, I'm not really that biased. I will eat any cookie.
But she didn't have a good peanut butter cookie recipe.
That's
so
true.
she said this
I've
might
had
be her new
a couple of them that I would
recipe.
use here and there, but not one that I was sold on, that I was this is my cookie recipe. And I think this one might be, because I really liked how it turned out. So next in our wet ingredients, after we beat the butter, we are going to actually add the sugar next.
You need that?
Which the brown sugar, yeah.
Oh, the brown
both,
sugar.
any both.
Oh.
Thanks.
And we realized when we saw pictures of peanut butter cookies, because we first saw this idea on Pinterest, and I thought they turned out kind of lighter colored. And I think it's because we used golden brown sugar, and they might have used light brown sugar. So either one works, but we just noticed that was something kind of different. So
And I feel like this is something kind of different about this recipe as well, because usually you add your butter and then your egg and vanilla next. But this one is having you put in the sugars right away, which is kind of interesting. So we're going to do 1 cup of brown sugar for this. We made this yesterday and I didn't even catch that. We were just going along and I didn't even realize how different it was.
okay. Do you think these look good, Leah?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and set these aside, the caramelized peanuts, and you're just gonna pour them onto a sheet with parchment paper is best because they are sticky. And then we're just gonna let those cool. So we'll leave them over there.
And then we're going to add 1/2 cup of sugar and to the brown sugar.
While Leah's doing that, I'll tell you some turtle facts that I know because I'm a librarian. I didn't look them up before. No, I'm kidding, I did. We learned that sea turtles, if they're extra green, it's because they eat lots of like veggies and like herby things in the ocean. But if they eat more like mussels, depending on where they live, or like oysters and even jellyfish, they won't be quite as green. So if you see a really green sea turtle, it means they're a vegetarian. What else did we learn?
The land.
We also learned that they can travel like 10,000 miles in their life.
I think
swimming.
it was per year.
Was it year?
I think it was per year.
Okay. I don't remember. I think you're right because
I
it was
think
it was a lot.
Yeah.
So, which I believe because they swim a long ways. Has anyone seen Finding Nemo?
Yeah.
Yeah. We like see the sea turtles in that movie, and they swim a lot. They would like all over Australia. They're swimming. So I believe it. Do you guys know what noise sea turtles make? Well, we learned from Finding Nemo that they go, Fin, Noggin, Dude. That's the noise they make.
That's the noise.
So when you see a sea turtle, they'll probably do that.
They'll probably do
that.
Yeah. All right, so after our sugars, then we are going to add our peanut butter.
Yay! And so you need a cup of peanut butter. And like we said, we made the samples yesterday, so we just used half of the jar, and now we're going to use the other half today. So I guess I'll use my spoon to get that out. Okay. Put that in. I feel like peanut butter is one of those things that people really, really like. Like, I know a lot of people that are just, like, obsessed with peanut butter and will, like, eat it by the spoonful. Some people are like that. Do any of you guys really like peanut butter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's yummy.
That's a good idea.
What kind of smoothies do you make with them? What kind of?
Ooh.
Yum. That one is good. That's one of my favorites.
That sounds really good.
Ooh, that's even good too. Add chocolate to anything and it's better, right?
Yeah.
In fact, we were actually talking about how you could add chocolate to these cookies. We had Miss Stephanie over here had a good idea to like drizzle a chocolate on top of it. You could make a fun design on like the turtle back,
On the
maybe,
shell, yeah.
if you wanted to decorate it, and then it would add chocolate to it, which would be fun.
Yeah.
So adding the peanut butter to this makes it very creamy. So I'll show you guys kind of what it looks like now. It just makes it very, very creamy to that. So,
And they are like a soft cookie. They're not
Yeah.
like hard peanut butter cookies at all, which I like soft cookies better personally for peanut butter cookies, so that's pretty yummy.
yeah, that's a bonus for me too. That's one of the things that I really liked. What's your idea?
Use the cookies as a swirler.
Ooh, that's a really
that-
good idea.
That's a very, very
Put
good
a
idea.
marshmallow and some chocolate.
I like that
I
idea
love that
a
idea.
lot. Okay, so now here is where we're gonna add our egg and vanilla.
Okay.
After it's light and fluffy. Peanut butter and
And we're just using imitation vanilla because it's really expensive to have real vanilla. But if you have that, please use it. We're on library budget, so we have to use imitation. No, I'm just kidding.
but kind of not.
We also thought about how like turtle cookies are like caramel and chocolate. So we were saying that would be kind of fun too if you wanted to drizzle caramel and chocolate on top, so it would be a turtle cookie. So there's lots of ways you can
could
make this
even
your own.
Maybe make, instead of putting the peanuts in there, you could probably even do like a pecan or something, because I think that's a
That's a
typical
good
turtle
idea.
nut to
Yeah.
use. So
That would be
that's
fun.
kind of fun. And so we'll just mix the egg and the vanilla up. Just
Yay.
make sure it's all mixed in.
And
here.
then while you're making sure it's all mixed, I'm gonna go ahead and cut my candied nuts over here because they are pretty cool.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna kind of roughly chop them up.
And we also found that they cut really easy. I was kind of surprised how easy they chopped up, even after being candied. They cut pretty well. So the next thing, after your egg and vanilla, then we're going to add our dry ingredients in. So, well, I can do it this way.
And you can chop them as fine or as kind of big as you want. If you like having like chunky peanut butter and like big chunks of peanuts, you don't have to chop them as much, but if you like smaller pieces, chop them more, I would say.
Definitely personal preference on that one. And then you'll see here that that mixes very nicely. You got your regular peanut butter cookie there. Oops.
Okay. Yay! I chopped them up pretty good, and then we need 3/4 of a cup. So I'm just gonna kind of fill a cup.
And then we'll just add the peanuts in, and then we'll be ready to start shaping our cookies.
Okay. Yay! Alrighty.
This mixed in. That was much easier than yesterday.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you don't have a mixer, I want to say you can do this without a mixer because yesterday we forgot one, and so we had to
do
mix it all by hand.
which it makes you a little bit stronger,
Yeah.
a little bit harder to
And
mix
we like
everything.
kneaded in all the nuts, and we did everything, and so you can do it, but
Yes.
it's not ideal.
No, definitely not.
Okay. And now we're going to show you how to make them into turtles, but it is pretty easy, so don't be intimidated.
Do you want to do them on there? Or
We can
would that
if you
be
want.
easier?
Yeah, sure. So basically, like we said, they recommend 2 tablespoons, but you could do a little bit less. We did about 1 tablespoon for ours and just rolled it into a ball.
Just like that. Oh no!
Where's your
I
fork?
don't think we have one.
No, there is one, I
Was
think,
there?
in there. I hope so.
Did you? I don't think we threw one in.
So we'll just make a couple little balls.
And then you can do your normal press with your, let me get some sugar here. I'm sorry for your
You're fine.
So you can always, you can use your fork to do like your typical peanut butter cookie press right there. Also, if you dip your fork in sugar, it kind of helps the cookie from sticking to the fork. So
And
the
there's
first
extra
one
sugar on
usually
top,
doesn't
too.
work right, but there we go. So then you just press that in there, and then the sugar will stick to that, and then you can do your cross, and it helps it to not stick.
And that's a Leah tip. I didn't even know that. It wasn't in the book.
Oh
And
yeah,
she
the book
knew.
didn't say that. I think
So,
that's sometimes typical with a peanut butter cookie if you've ever made them before. A lot of recipes tell you. I don't think this one did, just because it's a little bit of a different kind of recipe. But
wow, I'm making a mess.
there we go.
Okay, and then basically making the little head and the legs is just what it looks like. You just take a little piece of dough and make it look kind of like a little head, and you stick it on and kind of press it in so that it will stick together. Because peanut butter cookies the dough's a little bit crumbly, so it's good to make sure it's all pressed together. And then you make little tiny
Smaller
legs.
ones. And you can just stick them on the side wherever you want them.
And you could even make like a tail if you want.
Yeah.
We didn't do that, but that would be cute too. Okay. And then for the eyes, you can use anything you have, but the pictures we saw, they used black sesame seeds, and that's kind of a good thing to put on because you can't really taste it.
Yeah, that doesn't really affect the.
We thought
flavor.
we saw peppercorns at the store, and we're like, we can't do that.
They would have worked good for eyes,
Yeah.
but not quite for flavor.
But you could use. Yeah, we thought
actually
that
thought
could
of
be a
that.
good idea. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they might melt a little bit, but it would be good. Or you could press them in at the end when the cookie's
That's
still
true.
soft.
That's true.
Or even like sprinkles we thought you could use. But we found these, and we thought it would be a good idea. So
The chocolate chips would be good, but you would want to use the mini ones, like you said, because if you use a full-size chocolate chip, it'd be very big. But or
These-
just make your cookie bigger.
that's true. They are really small though, so it's a little bit precarious to get them to stick on there, but it's not too hard. So
So then after that, and we suggest that you put them on parchment paper and then do this instead of on like a cutting board, do it onto your bake sheet. It just makes it a little bit easier for transporting and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you make sure to put the eyes in first, and then you'll bake them. I think it's at 350
for just
8-10 minutes.
8 to 10
9
minutes.
to 10 minutes.
So it's pretty fast. And yeah, and then they are all baked up and they'll look like this,
yeah.
like your samples that you can try. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Does anyone have questions for us? Thank you.
Yeah,
We
so-
hope you guys try them.